everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Brotalk podcast. I'm Dolby.
And I'm Ives.
And we're coming to you pre-recorded through your ear holes from the Brotalk studio in Richmond, Virginia, a.k.a. my spare bedroom. It is October 8th, 2017, and this is episode number 13. Lucky number 13. Hey, Ives.
Yes.
Let's crack open a cold one.
Let's do it.
Let me just pop this beer open right here.
I'll tell you what, boy, boy.
I love me some beer. Ignore the rolling bottle opener.
Loudness. Pour.
Glug, glug, glug.
Good to the last drop.
Oh, yeah. You better get all that drop in there. Hey, Ives.
Hey, yo, man.
Cheers, motherfucker.
Cheers. Oh, man.
Oh, some good shit right there.
So, Cleese, what are you drinking today?
Well, Bubba, I am drinking the Pumpkin Ale from Uintah Brewing Company out of Salt Lake City, Utah.
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yes, sir.
What?
You know, it's October now, and October means pumpkin everything, so we figured we'd go ahead and do a pumpkin beer. Let me tell you, this beer's only got 4% ABV, so not that much. It's pretty light. Utah has some weird laws about how much alcohol can go in their beers.
All right.
So yeah, it's pretty light, but that's fine. That's fine. When you pour it, it's got a clear amber color. Nice. When you sniff it, it's got some nice light aromas of spices. The flavor, very earthy and woodsy spices. And taste of roasted pumpkin. It actually tastes like there's pumpkin in that there beer. It's light-bodied, medium carbonation, give you a little fizzy on the mouth. And yeah, it's a really nice beer. It's nice and smooth, goes down, nothing too crazy, no bite to it. I'd say I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Does that mean it gets this DI Brotalk seal of approval?
Yes, it does there, Bubba.
Get that shit done.
Boom.
There you go.
Yeah. So, Bubba, what you drinking?
Boy, I'm drinking something from one of my favorite breweries, Devil's Backbone Brewery.
Ooh, Devil's Backbone.
Local boys from Lexington, Virginia.
Good old Lexington.
Yes, sir.
Yee!
This is their Pumpkin Hunter. Same thing with me. I got it's a nice little ale brewed with some pumpkin and spices here.
Right on, right on.
So this thing, once it settles down, doesn't really have a lot of foam. Smell, you got a nice light hint of spice and ale. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
When you take a nice little pretty sip, get out of my way, Core. What you think about?
Stupid, Core.
When you it's kind of like a little bit of a lighter taste with a little bit of kick into it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You got a little bit of presence of hops there, a little bit of spice, and even a lighter bit of pumpkin. And most of the time, it's just mostly that classic, traditional ale flavor right there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty nice. I believe it's got a 5.4 ABV.
Not too bad.
Not too bad,
Yes, sir.
It's something to drink a 6-pack over and have a nice little buzz over something,
Damn right.
Get her done.
Get her done.
Got her done. Yep, pretty
Yep.
much. This one right here, I'm probably going to give her a nice little 7 out of 10 right here.
All right.
So, I mean, she gets a DI Brotalk seal of approval.
Boom.
There
Got
you go.
Yeah.
It's so bad I can do that so well.
I know.
Because I'm a Southern boy.
I was about to say, we do live in the South, so we know people who actually talk like that.
Yeah. I have this weird thing sometimes when I'm going to see people I'm helping out, in my job and stuff like that. I sometimes mimic what they got, like if they got a Brooklyn accent or something like that,
Yeah.
I'll go for that. Or they got a Southern accent or a sweet Southern accent, I go for that.
That's a very human thing. A lot of people do that. Like, you kind of adopt certain mannerisms of people around you,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, in my everyday, like, normal talking voice, this is it.
Yeah.
I don't really have that much of an accent that's specific to one area.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm hanging around my family out in the country, I get that a little bit of a southern drawl going. Nothing too crazy. If I'm up in New York, it kind of comes out a little bit. I get kind of that kind of deeper throat to it. If I'm out on the West Coast, I kind of get that more nasally, just kind of like, hey, how's it going, bro? It just all depends. I've also lived in so many places that I kind of experienced accents from all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just do that kind of, to me, it feels like it kind of compliments them in a way. Makes them feel a little more comfortable. It's like, oh, you're talking in my talk.
I know, right?
He sounds so much more hospitable than I do.
Oh, yeah, he's a good old Southern boy.
Good old Southern boy.
I trust him.
Just a good old voice.
Never meaning no harm.
Been in trouble with the law and something like that.
Something.
Since the day they were born. I don't know.
I don't either. So, hey, little announcement.
Yes.
If you're listening to the podcast on iTunes or Stitcher, you're not going to notice anything different. Everything's going to pretty much stay the same for you guys.
Yep.
But if you're on YouTube, you might notice something. We got some video now. Hi.
Hey.
We're waving at you. Well, we might have video. We're recording video right now. So if you go on YouTube and you see the video, yay, it worked.
If you don't, we're still working on it.
Yeah, and we'll get to it eventually.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're experimenting today. So if you're watching on YouTube and you see the video, awesome. It worked. We're happy.
Yeah, we were trying to do this for a while now. We figured we'd give you guys a little bit more of a, more, what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, more of a visual thing.
More of a visual feel for it and everything
kind of
like that.
see into the studio, see what we're doing.
More than just a picture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because right now it's just the audio.
We
with the
move
picture.
and talk and everything too.
I know. Look, we're real people. We exist. But yeah, so it's a fun little thing. If it doesn't work this episode, we'll work out the kinks and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're pretty excited about that. But cool.
Yeah.
So, Ivesy Poo, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about hoobies.
Hoobies?
Hoobies.
Boobies?
Hoobies.
Boobies?
No, not boobies.
Oh.
Hoobies.
Hoobies?
Hoobies.
Hoobie?
Hoobies.
The fuck is a hoobie?
More commonly known as hobbies.
Oh, hoobies.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about our favorite hobbies and going into pretty good detail about them, and what we hope to achieve with their hobbies.
Yeah.
And down the road when we have lots of money.
Yeah, and time and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to let Dolby take it away with his favorite hobby, and
You sure you want
I
me to
will
start?
see you guys in about 30 minutes.
I was going to say, you want me to start?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I'm okay with it. I'm prepared for this.
All right.
Just go.
So I have two main hobbies. I'll talk about one to start off with. That would be mountain biking. Yeah, I love mountain biking. I love taking my bike on rough trails and going for miles and miles. And I guess cycling also factors into that too, just putting your bike on the road and pounding it out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been into cycling and mountain biking for, years. My grandpa got me into it when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I pretty much haven't gotten off a bike since. I don't know. What else is there to talk about? Like, do you have any questions about it or?
What kind of bike should I use if I want to go mountain biking? What kind of, loadout should I have?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Well, it depends on the kind of mountain biking you're doing. If you're doing fairly easy trails, nothing too crazy, you can get what's called a hardtail mountain bike. It's got no suspension in the back. It's got a suspension up front on the fork. And yeah, it just kind of smooths out the ride a little bit. They're usually pretty light, so they're easy to pedal. You can go for long distances without tiring yourself out too much. If you're going over rough terrain or jumps and stuff, then you want to kind of upgrade to what's called a full suspension bike. It's got that suspension fork in the front, and then it's also got suspension in the rear, give you a little extra squish there, just to really help smooth things out and kind of help keep your traction around the rough stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right now I have a full hardtail. I don't have a full suspension. I want a full suspension, but they are expensive as shit for good ones. My hardtail is pretty expensive too. It runs around $1,000, which I know most people, if they're not into cycling, would like completely balk at the idea of $1,000 mountain bike. But if you're into it, then you know how much bikes cost and you kind of see the value in it. You don't need $1,000 bike to get into it. I wouldn't go any less than 500 though, because any less than that and you're just running into issues, things are going to fall apart. But you can get a decent starter bike for around 500.
Okay.
Yeah, just to get you going.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, seeing how much it would cost for a decent starter bike.
Yeah. And also, unfortunately, when you buy a bike, there are other things you need to factor in. You need a helmet. You always wear a helmet.
Knee pads, elbow pads?
No. You really only need like knee pads and elbow pads and stuff like that if you're doing like crazy like downhill mountain biking. But if you're at that point, then you already know what goes into it, and you probably have the money to spend, because downhill bikes are expensive. They're like, they run like $5,000 plus.
Wow.
Yeah, but they're tanks. You cannot destroy them.
Nice.
Yeah. And then as far as like road bikes, there's so many different types of road bikes you can get into. There's your basic, just kind of hybrid bike, cruiser comfort bikes. They're really just built for riding around the neighborhood and all that stuff. They're good. You can get a workout with them, but they're more upright, more comfortable, just for maybe cruising with your kids or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can get into like commuter bikes, which are a little bit more like racing bikes, but not quite. They have options to add like packs and stuff, so you can carry equipment on the bike, all that stuff. Then you can get into the racing bikes, which are like the carbon fiber and aluminum frame bikes. That
real skinny tires.
Little skinny tires that you see people in like the Tour de France riding.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you have triathlon bikes, if you do triathlon, which are even more specialized. You don't want that unless you're doing triathlon. And then there's a whole bunch of like subcategories that I could bore you with the details for hours about. But yeah, so if you have any questions about mountain biking or cycling, you can definitely ask me. Do you have any other?
Shoot this guy an email at dibrotalk@gmail.com.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I will answer all
definitely.
your cycling and mountain biking questions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess since you started off with one of your hobbies, I'm going to start off with one of my hobbies.
Sure.
I, as you guys know, as I continue to say, I'm still a huge car fanatic.
Yes, you are.
So before I met this guy, I didn't know how to drive a stick.
Nope.
I didn't know how to change my oil.
Nope.
I didn't know how to do anything about a car.
No.
I just knew how to put gas into it, and it needed an oil change every once in a while, just like any other person.
Exactly.
Then I met this guy,
You met
and I needed to change oil on my first vehicle when I first met him.
Yep.
And he's like, dude, why don't you just do it yourself? I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So we one afternoon changed my oil, and then a couple years down the road, I wanted to get a manual car, and he taught me how to drive stick with his for his second S10.
Yeah.
George. Yeah. And then I bought the Prelude.
Yeah.
That's when we really started to. That's when my hobby really started to come alive, basically, and I started to realize this is a lot of fun. Even though we were like in a lot of pain and there were blood, sweat, and tears shed on that vehicle with how much we had to put into it.
Yep.
I got addicted to it, man.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, brand new brakes on the front, new CV axle on the side there,
yeah.
running nicer and nicer. Just the feeling of improvement of your vehicle.
Yeah. It's rewarding to do your own work, you know?
Yeah. And I live off of that.
Yeah.
And that's just all about my hobby. I guess you could say I want to be like a car restorer almost.
Yeah.
I want to take a beaten up ride that's been abused and everything, and I just want to turn it back into what it was originally made to be, or even better sometimes.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of when I got into the whole hobby. You know, of course, I worked as a mechanic for a couple years, and then I transferred over to my roadside assistance job now because I'd rather do working on cars as a hobby on my own vehicles.
Yeah, not as a job for other people.
Spending time listening to music, going away, you know, in the nice spring days, just working on cars the whole time through. So yeah, that's pretty much my hobby. I mean, you will need a lot of expertise.
Yeah, it does take a lot of learning.
It helps to have somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
That you can't always go off of YouTube and the internet alone, because sometimes they might mislead you on a certain project you're trying to do.
Might leave some important details out.
Yes,
yeah.
Very definitely. You have to follow some of them to a T, or you will mess it up completely. And then you'll end up spending it on a new motor.
Yeah.
Things
you
like
don't
that.
want to do that.
Or a new transmission.
Yeah, that's bad too.
Like we learned the hard way.
Yeah, the hard way.
But
don't take an air hammer to your transmission.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah. We were young and dumb.
We were young and dumb, and it was getting late. I needed this is not only was it my project car at the time, but it was also my daily.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't running, I wouldn't be able to get to work.
Yeah, we were in a rush.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, another big thing about having this as a hobby, you know, you're gonna need a lot of nice tools.
Yeah.
You can't just go to Walmart and get yourself like a little toolkit. Think that's gonna fix everything.
Nope.
If you really want to get hot and heavy into it and pretty much do almost everything up to the, like a engine rebuild or transmission rebuild, you need some specialized tools, and you have to buy from the best.
It requires really good tools.
Yeah, places like Macco, Snap-on, maybe some Craftsman every now and then.
Some Craftsman.
Not a lot.
Believe it or not, Cobalt actually makes some pretty decent hand tools.
Yeah, Cobalt is really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ends up being a pretty costly thing and an endeavor to do.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of safety things you have to do. You have to make sure you get it right. You know, don't want a wheel falling off or the car falling on you. You don't want that.
Had a wheel fall off on me before, so
yeah,
it's not fun.
Not cool.
No.
Not cool whatsoever.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, if you like the idea of it and you have the money to spend on it, it's a great hobby to get into.
It really
and just
is.
something really good to spend an afternoon with you, or if you want to do it by yourself or with your friends.
Yeah. And I would also highly recommend having a daily driver that you don't have to work on.
Yeah. Don't buy a project that's also your daily.
Yeah.
Learn from my mistakes.
If you want to get into like restoring cars, get 2 vehicles.
Yes.
Get your one that you drive every day and one that you can kind of keep in the parking lot, garage,
experiment
whatever,
with and work on.
and you take your time.
Yeah.
Which is what you're doing now.
I have 2 of them.
Yeah. You have 2 project cars and your daily.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It's wunderbar.
It's wunderbar.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had any more money to spend, I'd probably have a 4th one.
I know, right? Well, you're thinking about getting a bike soon, aren't you?
Yeah.
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 A little motorcycle.
Yes. But yeah, that's pretty much my first hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on, right on.
So besides biking, what else do you do for a hobby?
Well, I do a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Backpacking.
Yeah, you do.
Hiking, backpacking. When I say backpacking, I'm not talking about these kids who go off to Europe with everything in their backpacks and stay at hostels and go to parties and stuff. No. When I say backpacking, I mean like you're walking in the woods with everything you need to survive.
And one with nature.
You are one with nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. It's just so relaxing, you know? You go out into the woods. All you're doing is walking. Like, that's literally it. But it's quiet.
Yeah.
You get to see animals.
Yeah.
If you go to the right places, there's some amazing views. Especially here in Virginia. Like, we have some amazing scenery. But yeah, I love backpacking, hiking, stuff like that.
When did you start backpacking?
So my first actual backpacking trip, I think I was 14 or 15 years old. Mm-hmm. Me, my dad, and my grandpa hiked to the top of Mount Marcy, which is the tallest mountain in New York State.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my first experience with backpacking. It was an overnight trip, so we actually had to like stay in a tent and cook food and all that stuff. It was fun though. I really enjoyed it. And then I didn't really do it again until recently. Mm-hmm. Did my first real backpacking trip on my own, well, with my girlfriend, last year when we went to Colorado.
Lucky
my God.
man.
Colorado is so gorgeous.
Especially if there's one place you need to go to hike if you're into it, you definitely need to go to Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My cousin went with his wife.
Yep.
Best time they ever had.
Oh, yeah. Go
instantly.
Definitely go to Colorado. It is gorgeous. The Rocky Mountains are amazing. Oh, God. But that's when I really, really got into it. Mm-hmm. Started buying equipment and everything, and through trial and error, figured out what works, what doesn't. Excuse me. Little burpy today. But yeah, so I guess with backpacking, I could go over some of the equipment that you need if you want to get into it. The first thing you're gonna want to do is buy a pack. That's the main thing that carries everything.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they think of backpacking packs, they think of these old like metal framed backpacks with a canvas bag and all that stuff. Those are old. They're outdated. go to your local outdoor store like REI or Eastern Mountain Sports or something like that, and they'll have a whole range for you to pick and choose from. I have what's called the Osprey Exos pack. It's a 48-liter pack, so pretty decent size. It's big enough to carry everything. Most people, if they're doing like 2-3 night trips, a 48-liter is going to be fine, especially if they hike in fairly decent weather like spring, summer, early fall. You don't need a huge amount of space. If you just want to do day trips, you can get a smaller pack. You can get like a 20-25-liter pack just to hold like some extra clothing and some food for your day trip.
Okay.
So yeah, pack is definitely something you're going to want to get.
What are some good stores to go to get decent quality things?
Well, like I said, REI is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Pay for the membership for REI.
It's totally worth it?
It's worth it.
Okay.
When you buy something from REI, if you're a member, you get a percentage of your purchase back every year to use towards more purchases at REI.
Of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, every year in like March, I get a little card in the mail from REI for like $200-$300 because I spend so much money there. But REI is probably my favorite. If you don't have an REI near you, see if you have like an Eastern Mountain Sports. That's a pretty good one. Or just Google like local backpacking outfitters. You can find some good stuff. For packs, like the actual backpack, I highly recommend Osprey. They're a great company. They make great products. There's a lot of other ones though. Gregory, Marmot. There's some other like small cottage industry ones that make some great stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, go to REI or any other outfitter. They'll be able to hook you up with what you need. The next thing you're going to want, if you're doing overnight trips, like you're actually staying in the woods, is a tent. Do not go to Walmart and buy a tent. Those things are heavy. They're like 10, 15 pounds just for the tent. And they don't pack small at all. Like if you get one of those, it's going to take up your entire pack just to carry the tent. You're going to want a dedicated backpacking tent. They're lighter, they're smaller, they compress to a small size. Right now, I have a 2-person tent for me and my fiance. I want to get a 1-person tent for my solo stuff. It's a lot smaller. Your tent is literally just to keep you protected from the weather. It's not supposed to be your house or anything. It's there to keep the rain off you. And then you're going to want a sleeping bag, of course. There's a whole bunch of different types of sleeping bags depending on what you're doing and weather ratings and stuff like that. I carry a 30-degree bag. So basically what that means is it'll protect you from hypothermia and down to 30 degrees. If it gets
below Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it'll keep you protected down to about 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, 30 degrees, not negative 30
Not
degrees.
negative 30, no. They do make sleeping bags for negative 30.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's overkill for what I do.
Okay.
If it gets any colder than 30, I'll use what's called a liner bag. It's basically this really thin silk liner that goes inside your sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And that drops it another like 15 degrees, 20 degrees.
Okay.
So it makes it a little bit warmer.
You really wouldn't need like negative 20 or 30 unless you were going to like...
Unless you're going to like Alaska or something.
Yeah.
Or you're hiking in the dead of winter in Montana or something like that. Then yeah, no, a negative degree bag is overkill and way too expensive. And you'll wake up sweating your ass off in the middle of the night. Most of my hiking right now is done in fairly decent weather. I think the coldest temperatures I've ever felt were like in the mid 40s. And I was perfectly comfortable in my bag.
That's not bad.
No, it wasn't too bad. And it was perfectly fine. Another thing you're going to want is a sleeping pad. A couple different options there. You can have like just a regular foam pad that goes under you. Not really comfortable, but it helps retain some of your heat. If you lay directly on the ground actually kind of leaches your body heat out of you, and you'll get cold really quick.
Right, it absorbs all your heat energy, basically.
The purpose of the foam pad is to keep that heat inside and keep you protected.
Plus, it gives you a little padding from the rough terrain you might be sleeping on too, right?
Yeah, a little.
Not a lot.
Not a
like,
lot of padding.
Not like you're sleeping on a mattress, obviously,
Exactly.
but you're just enough to where you're not don't have like a sharp rock poking you or
Exactly.
something.
But there are inflatable sleeping pads that give you more comfort. You pretty much just blow it up with your mouth or with a pump, And again, it helps retain the heat. And the inflatable ones are more comfortable. If you're like a side sleeper or something, you might want an inflatable pad because on a foam pad, if you sleep on your side, it's a little uncomfortable. But yeah, so that's a couple options there. I carry a pillow as well when I go backpacking, but not like an actual like pillow. It's an inflatable pillow that packs up into a bag that's like really tiny.
Wow.
Yeah, and it only weighs like 2 ounces. It weighs nothing.
That's insane.
Yeah, but it just keeps your head off the ground. You can also use a sack that's stuffed with clothes as a pillow if you want. That's another option. Yeah, clothing that you wear while hiking, it's pretty basic. You know, shorts, t-shirt. Do not wear cotton.
No.
It will absorb your sweat, and then if it gets cold, it'll freeze you. And yeah, cotton kills. Cotton kills.
Seriously kills. It may be comfortable, but it does kill. I mean, when I do my job out in the middle of summer, I have to wear Under Armour or something that's breathable. Synthetic stuff, polyester, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Because if you wear cotton, it absorbs that sweat. Yeah. And then it becomes heavy. It becomes soggy and wet. Exactly. And you're having to walk around with what basically feels like a wet towel all day.
Yep.
Cold. Yep. And nasty.
So yeah, while you're hiking, synthetic t-shirt, pair of running shorts. You don't need any fancy like hiking clothing. Like I know you see some guys with those pants that have like the zippers so you can turn the pants into shorts. You can wear those if you want. There's nothing wrong with them, but they're a little overkill in my opinion. Another thing is footwear. A lot of people, when they think of hiking and stuff, they think boots, like hiking boots, like the leather waterproof boots. Let me tell you something. Most hikers nowadays wear like trail running shoes. They're lighter, they're breathable, they're not waterproof, but you're going to get wet.
Yeah, you are going to get wet.
You're going to get wet. Just deal with it. Those waterproof boots, yeah, they might keep your feet dry from rain, but your feet will sweat more, so they're still going to get wet. So what do you want to do?
I never really liked the idea of hiking boots because they're so heavy.
Yeah, that
and
too.
They make your feet sweat so much.
Exactly. Which is why most people wear just like trail running shoes, which is what I do. And it's worked fine for me. I've done probably like almost 400 miles of hiking and have had no issues with my trail running shoes. If you're really worried about it, you can get these things called gaiters, Gaiters. They go over your shoe to add like a waterproof layer if you're worried about it. I don't use them, but to each his own. As far as clothing you don't normally wear that you keep in your pack, you just want layers to, if it gets colder, maybe a long sleeve shirt and then like a light fleece jacket. And if it gets really cold, you can get a down jacket that compresses really small. Lower body, you can get some long underwear just to keep yourself warm. Some rain pants to keep you dry. Rain jacket if it starts raining. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to backpacking. The equipment can be a little expensive, especially since you're going to want the lightest stuff possible. Because the less weight you have to carry, the more you're going to enjoy it. Yeah,
which is why you want to avoid getting heavy-ass tents and heavy-ass clothing and stuff like that. It's just going to weigh you down, and it's just going to make you run out of energy and stamina just very quickly.
Exactly. Like, I can carry 60 pounds of equipment on my back. I've done it before. You've done it.
Yeah.
We've done it. But why carry 60 pounds when you can carry 20, 25 pounds and still have the same amount of protection and comfort and not have to worry about as much weight?
See, me and this guy, when we did the Crucible and the Marine Corps and everything like that, we had this huge LV pack which would fit like up to like 80 pounds of equipment on our backs. Yeah. And we had to hike like 20 miles in it?
For the Crucible, it wasn't 20 miles. I thought it was like 12.
Maybe it might have been 12.
But in combat training, we had to do 20 for our final hike before we finished combat training.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a lot of weight on you. You're basically carrying another person for miles on end, nonstop. Yeah. And the dead heat of South Carolina.
Exactly.
It just, ugh.
Yeah. So, I mean, hike your own hike. Don't spend any more money than you want to, but I would highly recommend trying to get the lightest equipment possible. Yeah. My pack's base weight with all the equipment I need is, without food, not counting food or water, is around 15 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, that's everything I need.
That's
Shelter.
like nothing.
That's shelter, clothing, first aid equipment, comfort items, stuff like that. It's just 15 pounds. Now you add water and food, I usually average out around 30 pounds total.
Okay.
Which, not that bad in the grand scheme of things.
Nice.
Yeah. There are some people who go a lot lighter, and there's some people who go heavier. It's just, it comes down to what you're comfortable with, what equipment you're using, and yeah. Did you have any questions about?
Yeah. Let's say I was going to go on like a 4-day hike or something like that. What kind of food would you recommend me taking?
Sure.
Something that's lightweight, but is still healthy and nutritious. Maybe a little tasty.
Yeah.
Not something bland, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. So a 4-day hike, you have options. It depends on how much you want to spend. For me personally, for a 4-day hike, are we talking 4 days of hiking and 3 nights of staying overnight?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 nights. So for breakfast, you have options. But most people carry oatmeal, stuff like that. The camping stoves that we usually take, they boil water really quick. So you just get the water boiling, and then you pour the oatmeal in, let it sit for a couple minutes. You're good to go. And then you're going to want to carry snacks throughout the day. I highly recommend like trail mix.
Yeah.
It's got peanuts, almonds, raisins, a little bit of chocolate in there. It's really calorie dense food. You want to carry stuff that you don't have to carry a lot, but you get a lot of calories for the amount you're carrying.
Which is why trail mix is what it's made of.
Exactly.
It's all high in calories.
Exactly. Like you take a tiny handful of trail mix, and that's like 200 calories right there.
Yeah, but you need that to burn, so you have energy to burn.
Exactly. As far as like lunch halfway through the day, most people don't really eat lunch while they're hiking.
They skip it?
Yeah. Well, they don't skip it, but they don't like
eat a lot.
They don't pull out their stove and cook a meal. They just eat they might eat like a protein bar or something, like a Cliff Bar, Kind Bar, stuff like that, an energy bar, or something that I've done before. Bread doesn't pack very well in a backpack because it'll get smushed and stuff. So what I do is I bring tortillas with me. I put peanut butter on a tortilla, maybe a little bit of honey for some extra calories and stuff like that, and just wrap it up, and you got yourself a peanut butter honey burrito, basically.
That does sound kind of delicious.
Yeah, and again, peanut butter, honey, tortillas, high in calories, low in weight, really good calorie to weight ratio. And then dinner, for a 3-night hike, I'll usually carry dehydrated meals. There's a brand called Mountain House that makes a bunch of popular ones. Basically, you just boil water, pour the water in the bag, and it creates a whole meal ready to eat. Kind of like what we had in the military, like the MREs, but they taste better. But yeah, they have things like pad thai, chili mac and cheese, lasagna, Indian rice. Like there's so many different options with like dehydrated meals like Mountain House and stuff like that. If you're trying to go cheaper, ramen is always a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, again, lightweight but high in calories. What some people do, they'll like make ramen, they'll put the flavor pack in, then they'll add like a package of tuna, like not the cans of tuna, but the little like foil packs.
Yeah.
Add some tuna in there, and then bring a small little bottle of olive oil, pour a little bit of olive oil in there, and you've got a huge calorie packed meal in a small amount.
Nice.
Yeah, and basically you want to figure you're going to be carrying about 1.5 to 2 pounds of food per day hiking. And
so I need like 8 pounds of food?
Yeah, for a 4-day hike, you'd probably be looking around 8 pounds of food.
Okay.
But again, you want stuff that's really dense in calories, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'd be the like food stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of options. You can go online and Google like backpacking food options, but that's just some ideas. That's kind of what I do for like a 4-day hike. Yeah.
Now, how would one hydrate himself? Obviously, you're not going to carry like 3 gallons of water with you.
No. So one important thing is to stay hydrated, obviously. Like water is important. When I start hiking, I usually have 2 1-liter bottles full of water, and I'll sip them through the day, stay hydrated. And if I get down to 1 liter, if I finish 1 bottle, excuse me, that beer's sneaking up on me. Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
If I get down to 1 liter, as I'm hiking, I'll look around for water sources. I'll look for streams, ponds, lakes, stuff like that. And then if I find one, I'll fill up my water bottle by using a portable water filter. There's a few different kinds. There's kinds that you drop a tube in the water and then you pump it and it shoots out fresh water on the other side. There's another one where you fill up a bag with water, you screw the filter to the top, and you just squeeze the water out into your water bottle. So yeah, basically, while you're hiking, you're always looking for water sources so you can refill. Another thing I would recommend is like when you get to a water source, filter out about 1 liter of water, drink that entire liter, and then fill it up again. That way you've kind of been like a camel and overloaded yourself on water.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so most places that you hike on the East Coast where we are, water isn't too hard to find. There's plenty of streams and stuff like that. On the West Coast, depending on where you are, it might be a little bit more difficult, so you might have to carry more water. Keep in mind that water is heavy.
Yeah.
2 liters of water is about 6 pounds right there.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's very dense.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to try and carry the least amount of water you can while still being safe and not running the risk of dehydration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Let's see, what else do I have for questions? So we covered food, water, what you should bring, kind of equipment you should get.
Yeah. And that wasn't a comprehensive equipment list. That was just kind of some basics.
Yeah. What else would you recommend on a hiking trip?
Depending on how long it is. If you're only going out for a few days, then you don't really need much as far as like technology goes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you're going on a long hike, like 2 weeks long or even longer,
yeah,
bring an iPod, something to listen to. Because yes, while hiking by itself is amazing and it's fun, after a while, you're gonna get bored. It's gonna happen. So something to entertain yourself. I bring my Kindle to read like when I'm in my tent at night getting ready to wind down for the day. Always bring first aid stuff. Bring Advil, Pepto-Bismol or Imodium, something like that in case you get a little stomach issues. A lot of people carry like this huge first aid kit when they hike. You don't really need that. Bring some alcohol wipes for cleaning up wounds if you get cut. Bring some antibacterial ointment just to kind of protect yourself.
Bug spray. Yeah,
bug spray, depending on where you are and how bad the bugs are. Instead of Band-Aids and stuff like that, what I do is I bring gauze pads, like big 4-inch gauze pads, and I'll just cut the size that I need and duct tape. You just use the duct tape to hold it on.
Okay.
Yeah, and
nice.
Not like a whole big roll of duct tape. Just like what I do is I take some duct tape and I wrap it around my hiking poles just so I have some right there at all times.
Nice.
You can also use like athletic tape because that sticks a little bit better to skin. Bring some sewing needles. If you get blisters, you're going to need something to pop the blisters with to treat it. One pro tip. Bring dental floss. Not necessarily for your teeth, although that is a good idea. If you're carrying your pack and say like a strap breaks or something, you can use dental floss as thread with that needle that you're carrying too.
Oh, cool.
To fix everything. And it's actually stronger than most thread. So it's dual purpose, so you're not carrying extra crap. You can clean your teeth and fix equipment.
Ooh, I got some more questions.
Oh, okay.
How does one clean themselves? Baby wipes?
Good question.
If you're on like a long hike.
If you're on a long hike and you're not going into town. Okay, so let me say this. I'm planning on hiking the Appalachian Trail in a few years. That is if you don't know what it is, it's a trail that goes from Georgia to Maine on the East Coast. It's 2,160-ish miles. Takes about 6 months, so that's a long time. But you can go into town every 3 or 4, 5 days while you're on the trail. So what people do there is, of course, when they go into town, they'll find somewhere to take a shower. That's a no-brainer. While you're on the trail, You kind of don't. You don't shower. You can use baby wipes to kind of just keep clean like important areas, like between your legs and stuff like that, areas that are prone to chafing. But other than that, you kind of just let yourself get dirty and stink.
Okay.
There's really no point in trying to take a bath or anything. I would recommend hand sanitizer or like a kind of eco-friendly soap for washing your hands before you cook and after you use the bathroom. Because if you're out in the woods and you get sick or something, it's not fun trying to hike 3 days into the next town while you're shitting your brains out or puking everywhere. So keeping your hands clean is important. But as far as the rest of your body, I would say keep your hands clean, keep your feet clean and dry. But other than that, just let yourself stink. Everyone else is going to stink.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that brings me to another question.
Yeah.
How do you take care of business when business calls?
That's a great question, actually.
And what should you bring?
So obviously you should bring toilet paper. That's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I would also recommend baby wipes. They help clean up a little bit better.
Yeah.
No
swamp booty.
Yeah, no swamp bass.
You don't want that.
No, that's no fun. Been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as my hiking experience, there's two options. On the Appalachian Trail, there are shelters about every 8 to 10 miles along the trail. It's like a big lean-to where you can sleep and stuff like that without setting up a tent. At most of these shelters, they have a privy, which is just a primitive bathroom, basically. It's basically an outhouse with a hole in the ground that you just use. So that's an option if you have access to that. If not, do the good old-fashioned squat and poop. You just pull your pants down, squat down, go wherever you are. One thing, though, if you do the squat and poop in the woods, bring a small shovel, like a trowel, dig a 6-inch deep hole, and then do your business in the hole, and then cover it back up. Because animals will smell your crap if you don't bury it deep enough, and they'll start coming around the area. And if you're near a populated trail or something like that, you don't want big animals coming around.
Like bears.
Bears, yeah. I've seen 2 bears out hiking, and as cool as it was, you don't want them near you because they could fuck you up.
Yeah, you die.
Yeah. But yeah, just get used to the idea of just squatting and pooping. Make sure you go 100 yards at least off the trail.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it near any water sources because you don't want to contaminate the water. But yeah, find a tree to get behind and get her done.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
That's all the questions I had, I think.
Okay. Well, we've been talking about it for a good minute, so
yeah,
that's okay. Did you have any other hobbies you wanted to talk about, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What do we got?
So what I'm working on right now is a hobby I'm kind of researching on right now because I don't really know a lot about it.
Yeah.
But I want to get into music production and DJing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You know me. I love my techno music, man.
Yes, you do.
So,
EDM.
Yeah, I already got the hardware I need for it. Almost. I got a MacBook Pro, which is technically one of the best, platforms to work on for music editing for most of the part.
Most music editors, I feel like, use Macs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I want to do is I kind of want to do some technical DJing, music production, remix some stuff, create my own stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a kind of an expensive hobby. Kind of like along, working on cars.
Yeah.
And there's not really too much. Depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
If you want to go right off the bat, learn as much as you can, start doing shows right off the bat, you're going to need a lot of equipment.
Yes, you are.
You're going to need lighting. You're going to need a nice stage stage presentation, nice audio speakers, because sometimes the venues you might be at may not have their own speakers.
Yeah.
The good quality ones with great bass into them and everything.
They cost money.
They cost a lot. They usually cost about $300 to $400 a speaker.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention your setup, for the MIDI controller and the equalizers and stuff like that. The board itself costs $150.
Yeah.
The mixer itself, if you want a decent mixer, I usually recommend Pioneer, Tractor, maybe a couple of Sonys, and a couple other ones I haven't really fully researched yet. But I say so far my favorite brand is Tractor. Definitely the S2 and the S4.
Yeah.
And even the F1 controller, which is basically a sound pad.
Oh, okay.
So the way it works out is that you have your laptop. It runs your software for your controls for your MIDI controller, your mixing board and your soundboard as well, in case you want to add some different audio samples. What you're gonna do is you kind of play around with it a little bit. There's so much you can do with editing a track. It's amazing. Yeah. It's just limitless to what you can do.
Dude, a lot of people think that electronic music and stuff like that is as easy as just pushing buttons and making music.
Right.
And I've made jokes about it being that before.
Yeah.
But when I watch like DJs and producers and stuff, they're doing a lot. Like they gotta make sure everything's set.
Mixing, crossfading, audio quality, everything has to be set.
If you put me in front of like all that equipment, I wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it.
Yeah.
It takes skill like any other instrument.
I mean, you could be like a regular basic DJ, host like dances, school dances or something like that, where you can blend one music into the next or something like
you're
that.
Just like playing songs.
That's very basic. You don't need a lot for that.
Yeah.
But if you really want to get into like making your own music and mixing old stuff and
sampling
and stuff like that, you got to find your audio sources. You got to have them on there. You got to be able to, make sure everything plays right at the right tempo and the right audio and the right key and stuff like that. It's just so much to it. It's just you pretty much have to know your crap before you really start making your own tracks. You can't just think you're going to be able to throw this track, mix it together. It's going to sound awesome. No, it's not. You really got to do your research and take some classes. Yeah.
Like I'm not a huge fan of techno music, but I do have respect for the people that make it. Like it's definitely not easy.
Yeah, I when I was over at my cousin's house, he has an S2 tractor. Nice. He also has the software for it. He also has a Machine, which is a music production software. Okay. You can take different types of sounds. You can do them at different notes, different reverbs, pitches, everything. Yeah. I can't even explain how much you can do to a certain note or sound or anything like that.
It's like a little piece of the music.
Yeah, and just make it into a whole freaking soundtrack, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just so much to it. You have to basically just know what you're doing. But when you first start off, you definitely need to take some courses. Deadmau5 Joel Zimmerman actually offers his own online courses how to mix and give you pro tips and everything like that. Kind of starts you off. It's just like, this is what you need to do. This is what this does. This is what this does. Yeah. This is kind of how you can edit a sound in a different way, like reverb or anything like that, or tone,
That's pretty awesome.
But anyway, I was over at my cousin's house. He's got an S2. Mm-hmm. He's got all the software and everything set up. He's got the headphones and the soundboards and stuff like that. And when he's mixing on the fly, I'm just like, dude, how are you doing all this stuff? Yeah. And then when he gave me control, I was just like, I was pretty lit. I was thinking probably about 4 beers in. And I just start turning it, trying to get into it. I'm just like, I'm just turning knobs. And he's like, yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm just fucking turning knobs, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It sounds cool, but okay. I have this effect here and this effect here. I'm like, okay, crossfader, cool, awesome. Yeah, making some shit go. I've had a little bit of experience. There's a couple of phone apps you can get where you can mix 2 songs off of your library and everything like that. Okay. Add different effects to them and stuff. And kind of gives you like a little basics of everything, but there's just so much more you can do with the soundboard and the laptop and everything.
Well, you can always do more with better equipment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys want to start your own thing, if you really want to get into like hardcore production and DJing and mixing and stuff like that, you will need some pretty expensive stuff. Like I said before, speakers going to cost you $300, $400. You need really nice cords, MIDI cords are going to probably cost you about maybe $20 a pop. Yeah. Depending on how long you need them.
Would you say you're probably looking around like $3,000 to $4,000 for a full setup?
For a nice, decent setup, even just to start off, you're probably looking at least $2,000. Yeah. If you want to do it without the speakers and the crazy setup for hosting shit.
If you just want to like record stuff to your computer.
Yeah, and then post it on the like internet and social media and stuff like that. You still need probably about $1,000 at least. Yeah. At least $1,000, because you need a nice, decent computer that's going to be able to hold the software. This software takes a lot of power to run. Yeah. And to run it smoothly, you want it to run smoothly, or else it's going to start sounding like crap. It's going to sound glitchy and stuff. You don't want that. So you're going to need like a MacBook Pro. I mean, I got mine, pretty decent price, but it's old. Yeah. You're going to need you need a mixing board at least, and that's going to cost you another $400 to $500. Don't settle for a cheap ones. If you want to do it old school, with like old school turntables and records and stuff, it might cost you a little bit cheaper, but it's a much harder skill to master.
Oh yeah, that's
definitely
a whole other.
That's a whole other playing field right there, man.
I mean, props to you if you can do that. That's awesome.
I've seen people do it. I'm just like, dude, how you
like actually scratching vinyl and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's insane skill right there.
Yeah.
But at least $1,000. You need a laptop. You'll need decent headphones. That's at least the ones we got right now, $150.
Yep.
These are amazing headphones. It blows any other thing I have out of the water.
Yeah. You can hear all the nuances and stuff like that.
You can hear the details in every single little song or audio you're hearing. You can hear just like the basic details. It's perfectly balanced.
If you look at any professional musician, when they're recording or creating music, they have headphones on.
They have nice headphones, not the Beats crap or stupid other crap, flamboyant freaking crap.
Yeah.
That does not work.
Pretty much any headphone that's branded as like a fashion headphone,
not usually
you're going to be
that
spending
good.
way too much money for a subpar product. What we have right now, they're Audio Technicas, and they're a company that just does sound.
Yeah.
Like that's their thing.
Yeah.
They're not as expensive as say like Beats and stuff, but they sound so much better.
So much better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Go to your local music shop like Guitar Center or something like that and just try out all the different headphones and you will notice the difference.
Yeah.
Real quick.
But like once again, I don't really know too much about everything. I'm still experimenting because I don't have the time or the money to do it right now.
Yeah.
But later on down the road, I would like to do it.
Time and money.
But it's something really interesting to get into. Kind of good way to express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. But do you have any questions so far that I can probably answer? I pretty much explained it all, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, and I feel bad because you asked me so many questions about my hobbies, and I can't really think of any. Let's see, you went over the equipment and all that stuff, and yeah,
that's pretty much it.
What got you into wanting to do this stuff?
Ooh,
yeah.
I think it first started when I saw a couple of recorded performances from deadmau5 and other places like Daft Punk and everything like that. They're up on the stage and they're not just pressing play on a laptop and everything. They're mixing their original songs and going off the fly and improvising and everything like that. And just like, it's such an art and just, when I experiment with a techno, I also experiment with a lot of remixes of like classic songs and stuff like that became popular or people just haven't heard about. Yeah. I'm like, man, that sounds so cool and so different from the original version. I'd love to know how they did to mix that.
Yeah.
And that's how I started kind of developing this hobby. It's like, I want to get it to know that. I want to mix like two different tracks and make it sound like a brand new sound almost.
Okay.
And make it just, something I can bang my head to for hours on end, basically.
Yeah.
And so that kind of got me into the part. I was like, all right, if I'm really serious about this hobby, I'm going to need some money, some time, and I need to know what the hell I'm doing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's like I said, I'm still researching the whole thing.
Sure.
I can't really do anything until I get the equipment, though. Yeah. So, but, that's pretty much what got it into me. It's just techno, just listening to techno and seeing what these other artists and DJs go through and everything. It's just incredible to me.
I mean, it sounds like any other musician. They hear music that they love and they think, man, I want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing of like if you want to start a band with somebody, or you want to do acoustic covers or just sing.
Yeah.
Do straight up karaoke with the instrumental part of the song.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it may or less require more or less equipment or more higher prices, but it's still sort of the same thing. But it's just kind of like creating your own thing from abstract sounds and different songs you wouldn't think be possible to mix with.
Yeah.
So it just kind of the possibilities are endless.
Nice.
A lot of people say techno is all the same. It all sounds the same. Yes, then again, but if you pay attention to the details, it's completely different from every single one.
I mean, you could say that about any genre of music, though.
That's true. That's very true.
If you're not into it, it might all sound the same to you, but if you actually enjoy it, then you can
You
pick
definitely
up on
hear the differences.
Yeah.
Some songs may, even to you, the trained out ear into the type of genre, it would be like, yeah, it does kind of sound the same, but this sounds a little bit better than this, and it's just like, that's perfect right there.
Well, for me, like, I'm a metalhead. I love metal music. And if you don't like metal and you think it's all just like noise and yelling and screaming and stuff, you might not know the difference between, say, Gojira and Amon Amarth. But if I listen to it, I can tell you instantly, oh, that's Monomarth, that's Gojira, that's As I Lay Dying. Like, you can tell the difference. Now, if I listen to techno, I'm not as into it. If Ives puts a song on, I might be like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Is that Deadmau5? Oh, no, that's some other art. Oh.
Okay. No, it's this guy.
Yeah.
Gosh. Get it right.
Exactly.
Freaking idiot.
Gosh. It's retarded.
You messed up my tots. My tots.
My tots. Give me some of your tots, Napoleon.
Napoleon, go make yourself a quesadilla.
Make yourself a darn quesadilla.
Oh, man, I love that movie.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's just kind of just a hobby I'm getting into right now. I don't know much as it is, he knows about hiking or biking or anything like that. But I'll get into it.
What's wrong with that?
I'm still very content with working on cars because there's always something new you can learn.
When I start a new hobby, I get obsessive about it, and
He just goes like balls to the wall, just like, get it done, spend all this money, get research.
Yeah. I've wasted a lot of money doing that with other hobbies that I thought I'd like and didn't end up doing, but
yeah,
such is life.
I posted a pic on Facebook not too long ago. It said, I could be a drug addict, but instead I'm a car enthusiast.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that whole thing.
I don't have enough money for drugs.
I don't have enough money. I have plenty of money for vehicles.
Yep.
Buying them dirt cheap, but I don't have enough money for that shit. Nope.
Oh, man.
My ass now owning 2 project cars and a daily that works just fine.
I know.
Wow.
Right.
Living the high life. Yeah. Bowling. I just need a bike. And maybe 2 more project cars.
Might want to get a house with a garage first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It was like my goal for like working on cars as a hobby, even though we already talked about this. I'm going back to that topic.
Yeah.
I basically want to buy land out in the middle of nowhere, on the outskirts of the Richmond area.
There you go.
And get a huge, basically my garage is going to be bigger than my house.
I like it.
Automatically.
Yeah.
I kind of want to do like a tiny house slapped onto a big ass garage, a big ass factory almost.
Yeah.
I want to have like a 5-bay garage with lifts on them, every hand quality tool imaginable.
Yeah.
Sound system, man cave on the side, with like
awesome.
Pool table and bar and stuff like that, big ass TV.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then have all the cars that I want all lined up, and I'm working on all of them.
Hell yeah.
And I know how to work on all of them as well.
Yeah.
And I'll just spin there. I'll just be there for like months on end. Nobody will ever hear from me or anything except for me going to the grocery store to get food or some supplies or something.
I'd never see you.
Yeah.
Some grocery stores are starting to offer delivery service now.
Yeah.
You might not have to leave.
I'll never have to leave. I'll just be staring at my cars like continuously. But basically, I want to have like a garage, big ass factory garage. It's like 2 stories tall, like you see like a Merchants or something like that.
Yeah.
And then off on the side in the loft right there is just, kind of where I live, like my little kitchen and my little bedroom and my bathroom, and just very simple, maybe a little desk or something like that with a computer and stuff
just
like that.
A small little living area, and then
ooh, and a DJ setup too.
Oh yeah,
up in the top in the left corner right there, just be like boosh, 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 boosh.
While you're working on cars.
Working on cars and tweak with music at the same time. There we go. That's what I'm talking about right there.
I don't know. You might get grease on your equipment.
It'd be like my throwaway equipment. It'd be like, okay, it works still, but it's just covered in grease. And I have my nice equipment that I work on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm getting way ahead of myself. I need to win the lottery. Just make it simple on myself. Just buy everything.
I know, right?
Got millions of dollars. Buy.
Hey, it's important to dream big.
Yeah.
Shoot for the moon. If you miss, at least you'll land among the stars.
Yeah, pretty much. I like that. That.
I mean, on that same vein, I've got a lot of lofty goals for my hobbies. With cycling, I actually want to ride across the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to start in Virginia at the Atlantic Ocean and then go all the way to the West Coast on my bike. And for hiking, I want to hike the Appalachian Trail. That's like 2,000 miles there. I want to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, which is another 2,500 mile hike, and the Continental Divide Trail, which is a 3,000 mile hike. So, yeah, a lot of lofty goals there.
Nope. I'll spend 0 miles at my place.
To each his own.
Yep, to each his own.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'd like to join you every now and then, though. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think that pretty much does it for hobbies, man.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk like half the time about
Me.
backpacking,
And
but
hiking.
you know, it's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just name this one the backpacking episode instead of just
Yeah, right.
hobbies. It's like backpacking
Yeah.
with some hobbies.
And if you guys have any questions about any of the hobbies we talked about, comment on YouTube, send us an email, all that good stuff. And
Email, subscribe.
yes.
We like feedback.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. We also want feedback on YouTube since we're trying to start this video thing up. But like I said earlier, if you're listening to the podcast version, nothing's going to change.
Mm-mm.
You might hear us mention video every once in a while, but it's pretty much just the same podcast.
But we may have video.
And if you're watching on YouTube, hi.
Hi.
Hi. Happy to see you.
I see you.
I see you.
I see you.
see
and
you.
you. And you. And nope. I see you
Wait,
too.
No, that guy back there.
See that guy right there?
No, that guy.
No.
Left,
that guy.
left.
That
No,
guy.
That way.
The one wearing the pink shirt.
Oh, the pink shirt?
Yes, the pink shirt.
Oh, that guy.
With the unicorn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You
That fucker.
That guy.
That guy.
Leave us a comment.
I love you. And as always, guys, thanks for listening to one of our episodes. Definitely check out our other ones. Definitely subscribe. Like us on Facebook, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I guess until next time, we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks again for tuning in. Remember, we release a new episode every week on Monday morning around 6 a.m.
You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube by searching for Brotalk. Please subscribe to us on your platform of choice and leave us a rating if you would. It helps spread the word about the show. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at dibrotalk. Check out our website by going to www.dibrotalk.com. From there, you can enter your email at the bottom of the page and have all new episodes delivered straight to your inbox. If you have any comments or questions, shoot us an email at dibrotalk@gmail.com.
And until next time, we will see you later.
Later.